What's going on, family? It's Gray Rizzy. We out here on Hip Hop Nation, and let me tell you something. Some people, sometimes music, it's something that go ahead and it will inspire you. This guy inspired so many people, and the first time I got inspired, I might have been in Cancun. Don't quote me on that, but that went from Cancun to Brooklyn to the Bronx, my hometown, to Atlanta, all across the country, and we gonna talk about it because now this man, he has a book out, and it's crazy just to see the level up that's happening. We got JayZ up in here.
What up, though? What's happening with it, my guy?
What's up, man?
Come on, baby. I ain't doing no complaining.
Look, literally, I think the first time, shout out to our brother DJ Self. I think we ran back. I don't know what song it was. It might have been 3-4 different songs in Cancun. We ran them shits back. It had to be for an hour, bro.
Right.
I've never seen so many bottles bust internationally, man. But look, here's the deal, man. You have a new book that's out there right now. Adversity for Sale.
Yeah.
You gotta believe.
You gotta believe, baby.
What even led to you writing this book right here? Because that second part, yes, Adversity for Sale, but that you gotta believe.
Yeah.
When you say that, it was a mantra for you in the music.
Yeah, it was a mantra for me before the music. That's what I used to tell myself when I was, just trying to figure it out, right? Because it was so much, and that's why I called it Adversity for Sale, because a lot of times people just tell you about their success, what I'm saying? But, I had to fail my way into winning and for a long time. And that was my mantra. I used to tell myself, you got to believe. And it was so many times where I really had to tell myself that because it wasn't looking good. You feel me? Like it just looked like it wasn't going to happen for me.
The funny thing about this book, it's like the way it's broken up, there's so many pieces of it. There's so many people in hip hop that will always position themselves for the win. Right. But in the music, you've always shown not just the bright parts, the dark parts. But I feel like I guess the proper word would be you've expounded in this book. You know what I'm saying? You've shared even more. You've dived in even deeper.
Right.
Just to kind of take whatever that 8 or 16 may have been and turn it into a chapter.
Yeah, that's what it is, though, because it's like with music, you have to write it almost in an outline form, meaning like if an album is an outline, then you only got, that 2 minutes to really tell the story. But in a book, you can actually dive deeper into a chapter. Right. And you can really talk about how you felt, what you was going through, what was happening around you. It's so hard to put that in a music form, right? Even if you kind of make an album about the same, time window or time stamp, you still can't get all the details in the music, right? But writing a book is totally different because you can sit down and almost journal it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you can think about it. And there's no pressure on your writing. Because you might go too deep and have to take some stuff off. But the dope part about it was very therapeutic. That's what I really loved about it. Because there was a lot of stuff that I really thought I had dealt with, but I obviously I didn't. You know what I'm saying?
How is and we're talking about 20 years of you being in the music game, man. How did you
think beyond that, though?
Even beyond that. I mean, 20 years of, most listeners being like, okay, I remember,
I had a whole nother, probably about 10 in the street. So it was like, you feel me?
Right, leading up to the music and you making the choice. You talk about that in the book. And before we go into this break real quick, man, I do want to say this. I'm just kind of curious, how did you... Everything has been outlined. I mean, you go from TM 101, 104, all the different pieces and musics, everything that you've offered the listeners. Right. But how did you pull from each one? Like, did you go in chronological order?
No, I just really was journaling. And then, after I got it close, I definitely sat down with like 3 of my lawyers. And then what they told me.
That's the next question.
When they started saying, be like, I don't know if I would say that. I was like, okay, cool. Say less. I'm going to take it out. Because I just, because at the same time, I'm a classy guy. Like, I didn't want to write a book where it felt like I was trying to throw people under the bus. So I just wanted to write it from my perspective, right? And then also I didn't want to do any dry snitching as well. You know what I'm saying? And statute of limitations is a whole thing. You can think, but you just never know. So I just wanted to have them go back through it and read it. So we definitely took a lot of stuff out that they felt like that wasn't good. for me. So I respect that. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff I wanted to fight to keep it in there, but I'm like, yeah, you know what? You know
it's
what I mean?
a gray area, no pun intended.
Right.
Like, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Right.
For real. Look, we're sitting down with JayZ right now, and I just want to go ahead and quote this real quick. Gray Rizzy with you on Hip Hop Nation. If you go to JayZ's Instagram page where it says JayZ, Jeezy, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and now it says New York Times best-selling author.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Appreciate
on that, man. The book dropped less than 2 months ago and already best-selling.
I think it's what, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
3 weeks
August 8th, less than a month ago, and already you're up there on that list. Is this something that you saw happening?
It wasn't my intention.
Or the expectation, I should say?
I didn't like go in there like, yo, I got to make this list and nothing like that. I mean, but for me, I feel like that's one for the culture. Because you're telling a ghetto story, and for that to get on that list with, just these established authors already, I just felt like it was, the greatest story never told. And I feel like, as time goes on, I mean, you know what's even crazy? I'm more excited about the fact, like the brothers and the homies are picking up books. I had somebody tell me, man, I ain't pick up a book since I got out of prison. Out of prison 10 years. I ain't picked up a book. So to see when I'm doing these book signings and cats coming in off the street, they hustling. They can give 5 of them. I'm like, damn, I know what that sound like. You know what I'm saying? But they like, me a couple books for the homies. And,
let me pass these out.
Yeah, and guys bringing their kids in there and saying, yo, this JayZ, they kids 6-7 years old. They don't really know what's going on. But they're like, yo, we're going to read this book. We'll read it to you and tell you about, why your dad like them. And you got women coming in there grabbing it for their husbands, anniversary gifts and all that. But it's like, I just want the culture to elevate,
You know together. What it is? If I could share from my side to you, I think what you are, you're the embodiment of success that a lot of people think isn't a possibility.
Obtainable, yeah.
And the reason being is because, there's some people who are just on the other side and you don't know. What do they usually say? It's usually 2 ways that we're going to make it out of this. In jail, or we're going to be in that box.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm part of that 1 percentile, but I also understand I have an obligation. Right, because it was never about me, and it's like I got faith, like big faith. So I know that this is my purpose. I'm walking in. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And God wouldn't have took me through nothing I couldn't handle. But if He didn't take me through that, I wouldn't even have a story to tell. Why would anybody want to read anything that I've been through? So I had to walk through hell to get here. But on my way, I've seen a lot of things, and I learned a lot. And I've always put it back in my music. But of course, I've elevated my game, and my mentors are different, and the people that I converse with are different, but I'm getting all this knowledge, so I'm just trying to put it back into the culture the way I got it. You know what I'm saying? One of my guys gave me the book Think and Grow Rich, and that shit just changed my life. You know what I mean? It was like, damn, everything I'm looking for is right here. You know what I'm saying? And if it wasn't in the book, it pointed me to the right direction. So I just got infatuated with books, and I was just one after another, because I'm like the knowledge is in there. You gotta just take the time, and it's just like, how can I get people to read?
There's a lot that you talk about in the book, and similar to what you were saying about when you're writing a rhyme versus you writing a book, you have limited time. I know I got limited time up here on Hip Hop Nation with JayZ because everybody lined up outside the motherfucking door. Shout out to my brother Johnny in the building. Bree, what up?
Ain't playing, boy. He came here like
but
you got a stopwatch.
Here's no doubt. I wouldn't be surprised. But the crazy part of it is that you share a lot. Within the stories, like you share a lot when it comes to tip and conversations that you have, and just the what's real, what's fake, what's live, what's Memorex, that type of shit, right? And you kind of making it a point to be true to yourself,
right,
and not go into this little area where you doing all this shit and it's not real.
Right. I mean, because, you got to think about it. Like, the book is basically journaling and you just remembering times. But for me, it was therapeutic because a lot of that stuff wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? So it was a whole lot of trauma there. So once I started to realize that, I'm like, yo, I got to deal with this. But how better do you deal with it than to be truthful and transparent and open book? And I learned that later in life, not in the beginning, because there's a lot of people that I knew that really didn't know me. They just knew who I was, you know what I'm saying, saw how I moved. But I'm coming from the street. I got post-traumatic stress. I ain't trying to let nobody get close to me like that. You know what I'm saying? But as I, began to get a little older and evolve a little bit, I started to understand that transparency and vulnerability brings people close. It's power.
Yeah.
You know, it makes them feel like they know you.
It's communal.
It's like, no, that's my man. You know, and it's like that. And it's like, for me, I think that's the most important part, because beyond rap, we still men. We still black men. We still out here. We businessmen. We entrepreneurs. And it's just like there's other skill sets that don't serve me anymore in this world. You feel what I'm saying? You know, and you still have to have teeth, of course. Like, you can't be, you know, you gotta still be a monster.
Can't be a pushover. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? However, you know, some of the smartest people I know are some of the most dangerous people they are. They just happen to be naturally smart, charismatic, and they know how to mobilize people and to have influence. And I think, you know, that's where I'm at. It's almost like when you hear JayZ Jenkins, like you hearing the whole picture. Right, you getting the first and last name, the government. I can do that now, by the way, because I'm not in the streets anymore. And then you're getting Jeezy, who everybody's got to know over the years, but now you got it all the way across, JayZ Jenkins. So that's all the things that I am. So even for a cat who's like, yo, you writing a book with it, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we all can't go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The only thing I could do is throw a lifeline back, because it would be crazy for me to get detached from my culture and just go out here and become an entrepreneur and make a bunch of money and don't lean in. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
You feel what I'm saying? Just be like, I'm going on my island, I'm doing my thing, and you know, that ain't how I live my life. So it's like every piece of knowledge I get, I put it back in the culture. And a lot of people don't realize that, because even like when I wrote The Recession, that's all the shit I learned. Like being around people with money. I'm like, hold up. You mean tell me you worried about money? And I started asking questions. Okay, what's the recession? And then I started to understand. I'm like, well, I need to go tell them. You feel what I'm saying? Because we don't know that. I had somebody call me the other day telling me, man, Bill Gates just sold $7 billion and something to do something. He's like, geez, I'm telling you, something about to go down. Those are the type of people I'm talking to, but for him to even call me with that, now I got to go investigate.
But now you understand, you see the flags. It's like, you know, the Matrix. Like now you understand what these patterns are, right? The when we're talking about the book, obviously we got to talk about some music, man. Again, just referencing Tip, like when you were talking about being able to have your full name, JayZ Jenkins, go across that screen, how you can't be in both worlds anymore. That was a conversation you had with Tip. But also there was a part where I'm just thinking back to when you break through here in New York. To be able to be who you are in Atlanta, in the South is one thing, but for you to be who you are in New York, I remember those moments of you coming through those club dates. But I also remember, like, there was a really certain relationship, special relationship that you had musically, creatively with Fab.
Yeah,
Fab was one of those people who ushered, you know.
Fab was one of the first people to put me on a major project, and I met Fab in this Magic City. With the homies. Like, he would be with all the homies all the time, and when I came to New York, like, I ain't know no better. First thing I did, I went to Rucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a good spot to go. You love basketball. It's all good. You was in Harlem,
But what I'm saying is, I ain't know. I'm up there with, like, it's two of us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We walk around, I got diamond chains on and shit. Everybody like, yo, you know what I mean? So, but you know, what I mean is, I just got love in areas like that. So I went in, I was just, you know, regular. And just kicking it and got to know people and, you know, whatever. And then, so now I'm doing these club dates. I come to New York, you know, the homies coming from here, there. Like, Jeezy in town, let's go pull up on them. They come, it's all love. And then it just kind of went from there. And I think the real connection was, shouts out to Washington Heights, because them boys was riding with me.
Dykeman, what up?
And you feel me? And I think the real connection was, because when I first signed to Def Jam, Kevin Lyles signed me in L.A. Reid, right? But 2 weeks after I got signed, Kevin Lyles left and went to Atlantic. So I'm like, well, you know, because Kevin Lyles really signed me, but LA made sure I got in the building. And I'm like, damn. And just so be it. I'm going to the Def Jam building like 2 weeks later. This black Maybach pull up in front of the joint. Door open, it's Hove. Jeez, what up? You know what I'm saying? I'm president now. Come on, you walk upstairs with me. So it's crazy how it worked. And a lot of the work me and Hov did together, because we just had a real relationship, right? It wasn't based on music. But even when I look back, I used to be, bagging up, counting money to JayZ. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm walking through the halls with him. You know what I mean? And we making plays together.
Your partner. And
the craziest thing is, and people laugh when I said I got more songs with Jay than he got with Big. Think about that.
That's crazy. That shit is crazy. Talk about this crazy part, man. At one point, and I might be misquoting here, but you were Hov's favorite rapper.
Yeah. You know what it was?
When I heard the shit, I was like, yo, that is a crazy stamp right there.
You know what it was, though? I think we just really just related. You know what I'm saying? On a personable level, but I had a whole new respect for Hov, because I knew he was solid. But when some of his people started coming home, like Emery and them, and I was just hanging with them on my own, it was like, we just kicking it, tell me certain little stories. I'd be like, JayZ, like, oh yeah, and I'm like, damn, in my mind, I'm like, okay, he official. Right. But that just made the relationship even stronger, because it's like, it's just like, this is somebody who's been in the game far beyond when I'm in the game, and he's made strides, and it's just like, okay, in my book, he hasn't done anything wrong yet. He stayed true to himself, so I know there's a possibility for me to stay true to myself and make strides as well. So when you see me out here making these strides, you got to know that, like, as long as I'm staying authentic and true to myself, I'm gonna keep reaching for the stars. A lot of people, including myself, I was holding on to the grass, reaching for the stars. I had to let the grass go.
Yeah, to let it go.
You feel me?
Yeah. I'm gonna get you out of here on this part, because I don't want to get beat up, Johnny G, man. About to smack my kufi off or something, man. Yo, ironically, and we all know the power of Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
Powerful place, and we're seeing what's going on with the ex-president. And ironically, the ex-president Donald J. Trump had to surrender himself right there in Fulton County over there by Rice Street. This is the craziest part. If you've never been over there, the craziest part, right around the corner, Magic City is right there. Like, you can almost smell the wings.
Yeah.
What was your immediate thoughts when you saw that happen?
I mean, it just was crazy. I came front like, I didn't, you hear about people being criminals, but I'm like, damn, the president? You know what I mean? It just make you hard. But it's crazy, because I had one of my guys, shout out to one of my guys, he was the president of the NAACP, and we were just talking, he was telling me all these things that was going on with the count. I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, damn, you think they would do something like that? And for it to come back, it's just, it's just crazy, because this is the government. This is who we depending on. You know what I'm saying? And if they doing shit that we would do, I don't know. They might as well put me in office.
Even more reason to have people watching. Right. We gotta all watch each other, man. Checks and balances, bro.
JayZ for president. Let's do it.
I wouldn't mind it, man. I mean, shit, it might be able to happen. Let's see what happens in the next, year, next year sometime.
The niggas around the corner, they file just like us.
Yep. Look, JayZ Jenkins. That's the first time I have ever said that, but the book is out right now. Won't be the last, man. Adversity for Sale is out there right now. I also want to say thank you. Thank you for your time, for sitting down with us down there at Pandora. Yeah. Shout out to Big Dre. You know what I'm saying? Man, thank you. J1 is down there. An amazing conversation. And I want to get this real quick, because we're about to get out on this, man. Make sure you go ahead and follow JayZ at JayZ. He's still available on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
But what would I be if I wasn't a fan first? And I love this fucking hip hop music. This literally is original.
Yeah, you got the flakes on there.
This is original here, fam.
That's banned in 50 states. You might get a trafficking charge for that one.
This is original right here.
That's with the sparkles on it, baby. The flakes.
Yep. And what I'm gonna do, we gonna make sure we get this. I'm gonna frame this when we get home. JayZ, I appreciate you for the time, man.
God love, baby.
It's Gray Rizzy. We out here, Hip Hop Nation. Salute.